Hey guys, Shiosaki here with an updated build for my bomber in the Elsweyr update. A lot of things have happened, are going to be happening in this updated patch. A lot of you guys know my bomber builds. I really rely on a lot of stable, high spell penetration, high spell damage. Unfortunately, there are some Nightblade nerfs coming down the alley, so I've had to kind of move that train of thought into the critical damage basket, if you will. Biggest nerf is obviously going to be Merciless Resolve. We did have that on our bar. We never used it for the Spectral Bow or a bomber. It was just for the minor Berserk. 8% flat spell damage, basically gone. 8% of all your damage done, completely gone. But due to some other buffs from the last patch share, guys, we've actually been able to pry out some more damage from our build, but it's going to be going into critical damage now and not just flat spell damage. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get into the build. Alright, well, let's take a look at our character sheet here. 33.8k magicka, 1400 spell magicka recovery, 32 spell damage. This is completely unbuffed and not in Cyrodiil. 44% spell critical. Let me go ahead and buff up here and get a look at our buff stats. Yeah, I've stopped using Alliance spell power pots. I've had to spend a little money. Now using Essence of Spell Power gives you spell power and spell critical along with the magic recovery. Alright, buffed up character stats here, guys. There, that looks better. 4180 spell damage, 54% critical. Again, that will go up when my monster helm is procced. I'm using Witch Mothers. Now this is pre Elsweyr, so that will go down a little bit there because they are nerfing Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Buff from the last patch. I am switched from the Lover to the Shadow Mundus. 19% bonus damage to all of your critical damage. So we lost 8% from Minor Berserk, but I am shooting 19 more into all my critical damage. So there's a good lead on to how this build is changing. Did lose some penetration, but I made it up other spots. I am a stage 4 vampire, again, just for the speed buffs. You guys know I love that speed. Alright, into the skills. Here we go. Lotus Fan, Gap Closer, does some damage. I don't use it unless I have to. I would prefer to sneak into the pile of bodies. Reaper's Mark. Here's the big change here. We have taken off Inner Light. Reaper's Mark provides major breach, 5280 spell penetration, and when the marked target dies, you gain major berserk, increasing all damage done for 25%. Now that's not going to affect our actual initial bomb, but once the bomb goes off and that first person who's marked is dead, all your sap essences, all your vicious deaths, everything will be getting another 25% damage buff from that. 5 seconds is more than enough time, so it's again a big buff to our build. Yeah, so yeah, this is what it used to look like, guys. I used to have Inner Light there, which gave me spell critical. You can still put that on your bar and still use Alliance spell drafts. You're just going to lose that spell penetration. So I mean, you're going to lose the major berserk. But it's a lot cheaper way, guys. If you wanted to use that with the spell draft from the Alliance War, you can do that. Yeah, look at the character sheet. It's basically going to give you the same rough stats if you compare the two from before. But you're going to lose the Lover, right? So 48 spell penetration. And that potential for that major berserk in the deaths. So Reaper's Mark goes on the bar, Inner Light goes off. Shadowy Disguise Guy, guaranteed critical strike, stealth in, stealth out. Sap Essence, that's our big finishers after the bomb. Also gives you a nice little heal. Concealed Weapon, again, I don't use it, I just like the speed buff. Obviously Soul Tether provides a stun A lot of damage. There is a heal synergy, but you're going to be bombing by yourself, so don't worry about the synergy. And yeah, that's an important part of every Tether Bomber's toolkit. All right, back bar. Again, just for ulti-gen, guys, I use a lightning staff. While slotted, any enemy you kill gain 10 ultimate. So again, I don't use that. Channel acceleration, here's a big change we've made. Gain major expedition for 9 seconds, minor force for 36 seconds, guys. Again, another speed buff and a 10% buff to all critical damage done. So shadow, major force or minor force, and the minor berserk. We've gained quite a bit of spell damage. If you can see there, man, look at that. Look at that. That is sneaking. Okay, that's not stealth. That is literally me sneaking around. I can go as fast as a mounted person can. It's pretty crazy. Shadowy disguise, siphoning attacks, guys. It's nice to puff. It also works well with the high elf racial passives now. Concealed weapon on the back bar just for the speed buff. And the important one, guys, proxy debt. Again, you'll pop that first. That tooltip is ridiculous. If you guys saw my teaser video, I was getting almost 50,000 K tick damage from my proxy debt. We are going dual wield again. Vicious sword. Look at the enchantment on that. Deals 3420. Now, enchantments got nerfed last patch. So those tooltips all got cut in half. So I have changed my enchantment on that. Now, deals 3420 magic damage to all undead and Daedra. A good population of PvP is undead and Daedra. Most of them vampires, guys. It won't proc unless you're hitting someone. The offhand enchant will proc as a default if you're not attacking a vampire, but if you are attacking a vampire, you're going to get a huge amount of damage from that glyph. And that is Nernhoned on the front. On the backhand, I did go to precise with weapon damage, so again, if you're not attacking a vampire, it will default to this enchant. 3.5 extra critical, got me well above the 50% for my critical damage, guys. And again, vicious death, you guys should know all about that by now. The dual wield sword passives are important here. 6% damage. Yeah, let's go there. Dual wield, not that one. That's weapon damage. We don't care. There we go. Gives you a 15% damage when attacking a stunned and immobilized, disoriented person. Soul Tether does stun guys, so there's 15% more bonus damage. And the Twin Blade and Blunt for swords, that's 6% flat damage. You can go with the daggers, get more critical. That way, if you wanted to maybe again use the spell power pots and keep mark target on your bar, you could go that route too. I don't think there'd be a lot of mathematical difference there. Alright, back bar again, lightning staff, decisive, enchant doesn't matter. Again, back bar is just for ultimate drain. And again, I shouldn't have to explain vicious death. It's the reason bombers exist, basically. Alright, Blarg's best bar none set for bombers. Spell damage. When you use an ultimate ability, you gain spell damage equal to twice the amount consumed. 500 ultimate used gives you 1,000 spell damage. When I'm fully buffed in Cyrodiil, guys, I get about 5.6k spell damage. My spell penetration has actually gone up on at least one target now that I'm using mark target. So Blargs, you got to get it. Get a guild, find some people who will carry you through it. Still using War Maidens. I love War Maidens. Spell critical, max magicka spell damage, 400 spell damage to all magic damage abilities. Guess what, guys? Everything we do with our bomb is magic damage. Still going to be using 7 light, all divines to help buff the shadow mundus stone. So Blargs, War Maiden, vicious death, 7 light, all divines. Jewelry, guys, you guys know I did get the jewelry. All infused, all spell damage. That hasn't changed from last patch. Probably won't change. All right, guys, I think that's probably it for the gear. Again, that gear is pretty well the same from the last build. Let's go into CPs. 23 Warlord, 32. Okay, let's talk about CP here for a second. Last patch I did, CPs, I was going to be pumping everything into Mooncalf from now on. Guess what? We're not getting any more CP, so I've had to rearrange. I do now have 64 into Mooncalf, 75 Arcanist, 32 Tenacity, 53 into Shade, 23 into Tumbling. Again, I like to sneak everywhere. I don't sprint. I don't use my Magicka for cloak. But me sneaking, basically, I don't use any stamina up. So, yeah, if we look in the high elf racial passives, every time you activate a skill, you're going to get stamina back. So, like leeching strikes while sneaking gives you stamina back. So I have had to reallocate the points into Mooncalf, but I can basically sneak for infinity. Look at that. Sneak, 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 puff a skill. Yep, my stamina bar just went up again. Puff a skill, leeching strikes. Oh, I refilled my stamina bar. So yeah, you can sneak for eternity basically with this CP setup. It's pretty good. Alright, blue trees, the important tree. Yeah, 72 Elfborn. Again, critical damage, guys. 75 Elemental Expert, magic damage. 62 in the spell erosion, 45 spell penetration. With the light armor passives and the major breach from marked target. That's actually gone up at least on one target. I have 61 into Master at Arms. The first tick of a lot of those are direct damage. 60 in resistance. You guys know my thoughts on this. About the only important thing in the red tree. 44 into Ironclad. I've got 49 Hardy, Elemental Expert, 13 Light Armor Focus, 23 Thick Skinned. I do have some into Quick Recovery. That will affect the heal from Sap Essence, making it a little stronger, guys. Alright, well, I think that's about it. Again, I'm going to show a little clip at the end here of basically how you go. You want to make sure that marked target is fired off just before your soul tether so you don't give yourself away. But I hope you enjoyed the build, and good luck bombing in Elsweyr.